Hi, boys and girls. What I have up here is I hope my screen is sharing with you really quick. Hopefully it'll be big. It's probably not. This is how today's been going. It's sharing with you now. Okay, so here I have my writing popped up. This was what I did. So the very first day last week, I had you guys just choose a character, a setting, and a problem. Remember me saying that my character was an adventurous young boy? I had a fancy restaurant as a setting and who always felt ignored. So then I had you fill in this chart down here with the summary words somebody wanted but so and then. I wanted you to fill that in. That was one day. And then I wanted you to go ahead and write your story, okay? Now mine looks a little bit longer than some of yours. I just added in more details than I should have starting out as a paper for examples for you, but I'm going to go ahead and read to you my paper. So this is my first one. I haven't actually gone in and made anything better. I haven't added any specific details, and I just have a blah introduction. Jacob was a boy with parents who were very busy with work. They never played with him and ignored him when he wanted to talk. After overhearing that he would have to attend another business meeting at a fancy restaurant where he had to wear another tux, he became angry, but he had a plan. He was tired of his parents ignoring him. He did what his mom and dad asked. He did his hair and put on his outfit. When they arrived to the restaurant, he sat up straight, used his manners, and made sure he ordered spaghetti. Then the food came out. He smiled on the inside. After everyone started eating, he picked up his food with his hands and started throwing it everywhere. His parents were in shock. Angry glares came from their business partners as well as the parents. Jacob didn't care because for once his mom and dad actually looked at him. The car ride home was quiet, but then once they got into the house, his mom wanted to know why he did it. Jacob broke down into tears and everything came out. His mom and dad felt terrible and didn't realize how much they weren't paying attention to him. After that, his parents vowed to spend one day a week doing what he wanted and made sure to always be available when he wanted to talk. All right, so that is the story I started out with. Like I said, I probably could have kept it more simple for you guys as, because we're going to be adding to our stories and adding more specific details to make our stories more interesting. So this is what I started with. So what I did, you do not have to do this, okay? But I did this because I wanted you to see the difference that I made in my story. So I just copied and pasted my story down here. This is what I started with, so I added in a feeling. Sadness was a feeling Jacob felt every day and had no one to talk to about it. And then I go into saying Jacob was a boy with parents, so now that's kind of giving like a backstory. So we've talked about introductions a lot. We did them a lot with our last paper, so I'm hoping this one won't be too difficult for you. I'm hoping it would be kind of fun. So I am just going to go ahead down here and write your introduction. So we have had a sound effect, or just a sound, a feeling, dialogue. So remember, dialogue would be with the quotation marks, what somebody actually said. So I did like my beginning. I didn't really want to change. I could have started it out with the conversation of his dad over the phone when Jacob heard that he would have to be going to another fancy restaurant. So that could have been an introduction right there with his dialogue. You can do lots of things with your story, and I could have done different introductions with my story, but this is just the one that I chose. So sound effects, sound, feeling, dialogue, a question. Like I said, though, questions are not typically my favorite way to start out a paper with, unless you are, there's so many of you in this class that are imaginative, and I know could come up with a really great question to eventually maneuver it into your paper. So if you want to go ahead and use a question, you are more than welcome. Let's see, there is action. Starting your paper off with some type of action. Another type of introduction, which is a kind of a bit more difficult, is describing like the scene, the scenery around. Okay, so for example, Jacob, we don't really know where Jacob was. I could have said Jacob was sitting in the living room reading a book, and he smelt cookies that were being made in the oven. And then he heard a phone call. So that's a little bit more specific. So that's like describing the scenery a little bit. I could have talked more about what I saw, things like that. That one's a little bit more difficult because you kind of have to pay attention to whether you're actually going into the middle of your story or just describing the scenery at the very beginning of the story. Okay, so I hope this isn't too difficult for you. I'm so excited about these papers. I have enjoyed very much reading the papers and enjoyed very much having you guys read them online when we're together. I remember me telling you guys that we are going to be creating actual books for each writing unit. Well, this is one of them that I want to do. So the one that we're doing now is just kind of like an introduction to creating a fictional story. But eventually I do want to create bigger ones because I want you to actually make a book out of it. Some of you might want to create a chapter book. Some of you might just want to create a long picture book. But we are going to be creating books using fictional writing, which I'm very excited about. So I hope you are enjoying this so far. They are so interesting. I love what you are doing. Keep up the good work. If you ever have any questions to what you have to do on here, just send me a quick message on Google Classroom or have your parents send me a message on Remind. So I hope today wasn't too difficult for you writing. I'm so sorry this took so long to get to you, but this is all you're doing today for writing. All right? Have a great rest of your day. Bye, you guys.